One day, 8-year-old Melissa says to her mother, "Mum, where do we come from?" Mother says, "That's a very good question, Melissa. You see, God created heaven and earth, and then God created Adam and Eve. And Adam and Eve had children, and they had children, and now we have the human race." Later that morning, she bumped into her father and she said, "Dad, where do we come from?" Father says, "That's a very good question, Melissa. You see, millions or perhaps even billions of years ago, there were only monkeys. There were no humans. And over time, the monkeys evolved until we have the human race." That afternoon, Melissa meets her mother again and she says, "Mum, I don't understand. I asked you where we come from and you said we come from God. I then asked Dad where we come from and he said we come from monkeys." Melissa's mother thinks for a moment and she says, "That's not a problem. You see, I was speaking about my side of the family and your father was speaking about his side of the family." You know, in the book of Bereshit, when we speak about creation, we always use the same terminology. It's always, "And God said, let there be." But there is one exception, and that is when we speak about the creation of man. There God says, "Let us make man." In a sense, God is saying to each and every one of us, "I want you to become a partner with me in the creation and the development of mankind." That idea is seen in this week's reading, Parshat Tazriah. In this week's reading, we read about the obligation of circumcising every male baby when the baby is 8 days old. The rabbis ask, if there is a need to circumcise, why didn't God create the child already circumcised? To which they answer, to impress upon us, just as the man, the human, is born physically impaired, so too the human is born spiritually impaired, and it becomes the responsibility of the human being to grow spiritually. You know, if we speak about the animal kingdom, as long as the animal is fed, it is only a question of time till that animal will grow into maturity. It needs to do nothing else to become a mature animal. The human being, on the other hand, yes, over the course of time it will grow physically and become physically mature. However, when we speak about intellectual and emotional maturity, that doesn't simply happen as a result of the passage of time. You know, I don't know if this is true, but I would imagine that no horse says to itself, "You know, my Zeta, my grandfather, it won the Melbourne Cup. It's a very famous horse race in Australia, and I want to win the Melbourne Cup as well." But as that is true when we speak about intellectual and emotional maturity, so is it true when we speak about spiritual maturity. It just doesn't happen on its own. When we speak about spiritual maturity, it seems somewhat daunting. I'd like to share with you a secret that, please God, will help you when we speak about spiritual growth. Every single morning, Jews will recite a prayer. We say it while we're still lying in bed. It's only 12 words. It's the Moda Ani. It's a prayer when we acknowledge and we thank God for giving back our souls. And you know what we're really saying when we say that prayer? We're acknowledging the fact that God is saying to you and I need you. There is something that needs to happen on planet Earth today that no one else can do besides you. I'm entrusting you. I need you to be my partner. God is asking us to partner Him every single day that we are alive. If that won't give us the energy, if that won't give us an input when we speak about spiritual growth and spiritual maturity, tomorrow morning when you wake up, you can foolishly believe that we come from monkeys and you'll live the day without purpose and without meaning. Or you can understand, recognize, and realize that we were created by God, and therefore tomorrow morning when I wake, I know there is a purpose and there is a meaning to my life. And tomorrow will be a day of spiritual growth. And that's what it means to be truly human. Shabbat Shalom, and thank you.